Time to check out Apple's new iPhone 13 line. This is going to be your first look at the 4 new phones. We have an iPhone 13, an iPhone 13 mini, an iPhone 13 Pro, and an iPhone 13 Pro Max. So from the little 5.4 inch all the way up to the 6.7 inch model, the Pro model, which has probably got the coolest new features. Okay, let's get started. Maybe we'll start with the standard base model, the iPhone 13. Okay, so let's unbox. This is Apple's new iPhone 13. See it? Haven't even powered it up. It looks and feels very similar to the iPhone 12, but you'll notice that the camera array is now diagonal, 12 megapixel wide and 12 megapixel ultra wide. So from a physical standpoint, that and the color, this new blue, this is actually a really nice blue color. So you get your lightning cable, which ends on the other side in USB-C. So we have one side which is the standard lightning, the other side which is USB-C. It no longer ships with a power brick, so you have to have USB-C compatible power brick. We also have the Apple iPhone 13 mini. The iPhone 13 is a 6.1 inch device, and this little black iPhone 13 mini is 5.4 inches. Some people thought that maybe they would discontinue this, but that didn't happen. So you can see, take a look at that there and there. It's a nice little device. Again, same exact camera array that you have on the other phone. These are your Apple iPhone 13s. The new ones. Well, even as we're talking here, I'm just going to power them up for the first time. A couple of things that are important to know about these new phones. They both have the A15 Bionic CPU inside of them. That's the new Apple mobile processor. And oh look, little hello. Isn't that adorable? Here, let's see, you can watch it on this one. That's cute, right? That's new, by the way, that little scripted hello. So that's changed. We talked about the camera in the back. We've got the two 12 megapixel cameras. When we get to the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max, they have 3 cameras, the 3 camera array, and some extra capabilities. The other big thing to note here, we have the Super Retina displays, right? And we have the notches that are 20% smaller. So let's talk a little bit more about the notch. So on the new iPhone 13, the notch is 20% smaller. That shrinkage is not, it's not in depth, it's in width. So if you take a close look at the iPhone 12 Pro versus the iPhone 13 Pro, I think you can see it. So what Apple has done here is they've taken the speaker, and you can see the slot. You can almost see the slot at the top, and they've shifted it on the iPhone 13 out of the module and to this very top edge. You can just barely make it out. And what's interesting about that is that a lot of Android phones, that's where they put the speakers, like in a top, like a slot at the top. So it's no longer really part of the True Depth module per se. So I think that's one way they were able to sort of narrow it. But the depth is fundamentally, I would say, the same. We've got a tiny bit more screen real estate, but it is nice to shrink it, though some people wanted Apple to remove the notch altogether and put a fingerprint reader under the screen. You don't have that. You still have Face ID. I personally prefer Face ID. I think it's just the easiest way to log in. The back is notable because underneath here is the MagSafe charging capabilities, which is magnetic. Obviously you can't see it, but you just attach it to a charger. It just snaps right onto the back there and charges quickly. And speaking of charging and battery life, Apple is saying that there's more battery life in both of these models than the previous models. Okay, let's move on to the Apple iPhone 13 Pro and 13 Pro Max. Those are the 6.1 inch and the 6.7 inch phones. They're the biggest and most powerful and most expensive phones. When we had the iPhone 13 mini, it starts at $699. The iPhone 13 starts at $799. When we get to the iPhone 13 Pro, we're starting at $999, and for the Pro Max, it starts at $1,099. If you were going up to, because this is Apple's first 1 terabyte capable phone, the iPhone 13 Pro Max, then it's about $1,599. So pretty expensive for a phone, but hey, yeah, can't put a price on storage. Here we go. So let's start with the iPhone 13 Pro. This is looks like a gold model. That's pretty, right? Very, very. That's, this has a stainless steel enclosure. The iPhone 13 has an aluminum enclosure, and it has a brushed glass back instead of a shiny back. They both still have, all the iPhone 13 still have the ceramic shield on the front to protect them. It protects them, I think, from breaking. It doesn't protect them entirely from scratches. My iPhone 12 Pro, the screen is scratched, and I have no idea why. I don't know what I did to it. Apple apparently no longer worries about the size of this hump. The square with this camera on it, that's substantial. Let me take a look here. Get a little closer so you can take a look at that. It's beautiful. It's very pretty. There's the lightning port, same. Speakers, same. But yeah, good looking phone. Let's unbox the iPhone 13 Pro Max. This is the 6.7 inch device. New color here, this blue. Really attractive, very big phone. Apparently these phones have larger batteries, but they also have more efficiencies through the 5 nanometer A15 Bionic, and they also have worked on the Super Retina XDR display, which are OLED displays, which offer some power efficiencies. So let's start them both up for you. Now we're going to see that new beginning, that new hello, which is really kind of cute. Let me take some. Here we go, and the scripted hello. That's adorable, right? Yeah, we have the 3 cameras, the 3-camera array, and we also have the lidar camera on here, which helps with some AR technologies, but also assists in low light photography situations. So the one other thing that I wanted to mention about all of these phones have essentially the same screen, the Super Retina XDR display. However, we have the ProMotion on the Pro side, which gives you variable refresh rate running from 10 hertz up to 120 hertz with some steps in between. Again, that has to do with fluid motion at 120 hertz, but also power efficiency, because if you are able to reduce the refresh rate when nothing is really going on, that's obviously going to lower the battery impact. So again, longer battery life because of that fluid motion on the high-end side of the refresh rate with the screens that have ProMotion. Time to set up Face ID. Now, if you haven't seen this before, Apple introduced with the iPhone 13 line an updated iPhone leather wallet. So what's important about this is that not only does it work with the MagSafe, the magnet on the back of the phone, on the back of your iPhone, but they've made the magnet on this stronger, and it now has NFC. So if the wallet is detached from the phone for more than a minute, you'll get a notification that they're separated. So why don't we quickly unbox this to take a look. Did I do that right? Yeah. So here it is. There's the yeah. And they've got a little something in here which explains, I guess, how to use it. Your credit cards go in here. And so it's on there. You hear the sound. It makes a little sound when it connects to it. And I mean, that, I guess that's good. I almost want that magnet to feel stronger, but we'll see. We've also got a bunch of MagSafe cases for the iPhone 13. We've got leather and silicone. Silicone's going to be cheaper than leather. This one's for the iPhone 13 Pro Max, and this one's for the iPhone 13 Mini. So this is the new iPhone 13 Pro case, and this is the iPhone 13, and see, it fits like a glove, right? But I thought it'd be interesting to try the iPhone 12 in it. So that gives you an idea of how much bigger the camera array is on the new phone. There's a lot of space. A lot of space. Let's talk a little bit about the new camera array on the iPhone 13. Obviously there's a difference. So this is the iPhone 13, this is the iPhone 12. What you can see is the difference in the array. One is vertical and one is now diagonal. And it's a little bit, the lenses, I mean, these are new cameras. They're not, they're bigger. They're bigger, which probably means they're going to bring in more light. They're even lifted off a little bit more. So we've got two 12 megapixel cameras here. We've got the wide and the ultra wide. I think the wide is f1.16 aperture and the ultra wide is f2.4 aperture with 120 degree field of view, which is the same as it was previously, but the 7-element lens. And behind it are bigger sensors, including one that has a sensor shift technology, which is which moves the sensor to reduce, especially low light situations, to reduce the movement. So this is potentially a much improved camera system. I haven't tried it out yet, but you can see that there's a real difference. And even though, this is the iPhone 13 Mini is $699 to start as opposed to $799, they both have the exact same camera array. All right, so we've got three cameras. So we've got the wide, ultra wide, and the telephoto. They're all 12 megapixel. The telephoto is now 3x optical zoom. It was previously 2.5x optical zoom. I would have loved a 5 times optical zoom. Not going to get it. Apple doesn't boast crazy digital zooms like 100x. They don't go to that. And so, if you digitally zoom, you're probably getting like 10 times closer, which is fine. We've got, so let's see, on the telephoto it's 2.8 aperture, on the wide it's 1.5 aperture, and on the ultra wide it's 1.8 aperture, and again, ultra wide still 120 field of view. That's the same as it was before, but there are some really cool new features. One feature I'm going to talk about that cuts across all of the iPhone 13 cameras, and then one that is specific to the Pro line. Okay, so on the iPhone 13 Pro models, both the Pro and the Pro Max here, we have a new camera capability, one I've been waiting for a long time, macro photography. So macro photography means that you can get within 2 centimeters of your subject and take a clear photo. Raindrops, butterfly wings, whatever you want to get really close to and take a stunning photo. That's a big deal for Apple. Other manufacturers like OnePlus have done it before, but I'm glad Apple is finally doing it. And that is not, by the way, something that you can do on the iPhone 13 standard. It's just on the Pro models. Okay, let's talk about something called cinematic mode. Cinematic mode is across all of these phones. Yes, so it's on the iPhone 13 Pro, Pro Max, and the iPhone 13 and 13 Mini. So cinematic mode, which is powered by, obviously the new cameras, but also more specifically the A15 Bionics new neural engine, which is faster than before. What does cinematic mode mean? So cinematic mode is what you see in the movies. It's when you have the depth of field, so the subject up front are in focus and those in the back are out of focus. The iPhone can on the fly switch that focus based on which subject is looking toward the camera. Or if you want, you can tap the screen to change it on the fly. So focus on that person, now focus on this person. That's going to be a big deal. Even more important than that, you can edit it after the fact and add that, change the depth of field, change the focus to the different parts of the subject. So all the information is captured and in there. This could be huge. All of the iPhone 13s are IP68 rated, which means they can be in like 6 meters of water for 30 minutes. I wouldn't recommend you do that, but they certainly could. And just a reminder, if you were to get these phones wet or drop them into, say, drop that into the toilet, don't try charging it right away. Let it dry out completely, otherwise you cause a problem. This is one of the iPhone 13 line's new features. It's called photographic styles. And as I understand this, this is sort of like a bunch of presets. If you like your photos a certain way, more vibrant, warmer, and you can, I guess, set that up and apply it, you can adjust it. So those are your sort of style options. I guess the second one, I like that poppy, that sort of punchy look. More than likely, though, this is what I'll use, something that doesn't make any adjustments to my photos. This is the feature on the iPhone 13 line, cinematic mode, that I am most excited about. I can't wait to try this. So let's talk a little bit about what I found when using cinematic mode in the iPhone 13 Pro. It's impressive. Now, I would say that it's clearly a combination of the camera hardware and the software, which is being driven by the A15 Bionic, in particular, the neural engine inside of it. But, you know, you can see it's impressive. You know, you can see the quality is impressive. I think that it broke down a little bit more in sort of strong sunlight. You can kind of see that maybe had a little trouble with my bald head. Even just tapping to switch, so you can see here I just kept tapping the screen and I switched between the subjects, and you know, so you can do that manually, or you can do it when people are sort of looking away. Now I had a little less luck getting that part to work where someone looked away and it would automatically switch, but I also couldn't get my subjects to fully engage, so I don't necessarily think that it's their fault.
Later I tried cinematic mode at an airport, where I turned it on and let it automatically track subjects as they walked in front of the frame. Notice that it's able to just pick up on people close, put them in focus, and then track people in the back, put them in focus. Does it all automatically. I was honestly impressed.
In addition, I was able to go into the videos and I can edit them, and I can actually change like what, you know, I can change what happens, you know, like whether somebody is in the edit or not. I did cinematic mode with both the rear camera, the 12 megapixel rear camera, and the 12 megapixel cameras on the front in the true depth camera. So you can do it with either one. I can't notice a major difference between the camera capabilities. I will say that it's really easy to use. It works automatically. It absolutely transforms the look of your videos. How are you doing? Mm-hmm. And how long you been hanging around? Oh, really? I didn't know that. But what about the watering situation? Ah, mm-hmm. I see. So you would like me to water you more. One of the extra features you get on the iPhone 13 Pro and Pro Max is macro photography. You get that because you get this On the wide angle, you get autofocus, continuous autofocus, and that you can actually see when you get closer to a subject within a couple of centimeters. There's a shift in the camera, and then suddenly you're seeing everything up close and really, really sharp. So here's an example of a macro shot, and I mean, I think what you'll notice here is just the detail at the center of, I mean, that's pretty remarkable what you're able to do there. So take a look, here's another macro shot, and I'll try and look at the paint strokes. And that's really something. And also, remember this EXIF data that you can now get. Of course, all of these Apple iPhone 13s, the 13 Pro, Max, Mini, and Standard, they're all going to be running iOS 15, and you know, that's going to bring you features like new Maps, which has you know, these really hey, look at me going around the world. So a lot of new features in iOS, which is going to make your any phone of almost any age feel like new. But you know, there are a lot of cool, there's a lot of cool power, performance, and photography and video features in these devices that I think people are going to be excited about. There you have it, a quick walkthrough of Apple's new iPhone 13 line, starting with the iPhone 13 Pro Max, 6.7 inches, iPhone 13 Pro, 6.1 inches, iPhone 13 6.1 inches, and the iPhone 13 mini 5.4 inches, ranging in price from $1,099 down to $699, all with the Super Retina XDR display. The high-end models have ProMotion, the lower-end models do not. The higher-end models have macro photography. These guys do not. All of them have cinematic mode. All of them have potentially better battery life. All of them have the A15 Bionic CPU. So some excitement, not a major change, but some important, actually critical, noticeable changes that you will have, especially in your photography and videography. I can't wait to try them all out. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe.